Right, hey everyone. So I'm going to show you how to get a semi-pro pedal board which is going to be dead easy to use, and you haven't got to worry about power supplies, about wires dropping through those rails and working how you're going to put pedals where the gaps are so you can't mount them. You haven't got to worry about cutting out foam because we're going to modify an existing manufacturer's pedal board, and we're going to be able to put the pedals wherever we want, and you're not going to be able to kick them out of position like you do when they're in foam. Okay? And also we're going to have a hard case because we all know the soft cases don't work all that well, and when you're trying to work quickly everything goes wrong. So we're going to base this on the Boss pedal board BCB 90X, which is actually this one here, and I'll show you that in a second. But if you're using any of these pedal boards, they're so easy. You simply undo two latches, pull the cover up, knock it down, plug in the guitar, plug in the amp, plug in the power supply, and away you go. What could be simpler? Also, once we're done, these things don't go anywhere. Absolutely fixed hard. You can pull them out with a bit of a tug, and other than that you can position them. And when you're finished, to put the board, the lid back, we simply click it into place, put it down, close one, close the other, and away you go. Job done. Why would you not want one of these? The new version is this one, and this is the current pedal board, which is my main board, and because you haven't got gaps, you can fit these pedals in any way you like. There is absolutely no restriction apart from allowing gaps to be able to get the jump leads in and out, the patch leads in and out. So, apologies for what's coming because I've done it in little sections and I may have repeated myself a couple of times, but you'll get the gist, and then you'll wonder why you're not using one yourself. Anyway, I'll show you now how it's done, and we'll catch up later. Okay. So this is what we've got. We've got a brand new pedal board from Boss. This is fantastic actually, because what you've got here is a power supply, input, a really strong solid case, and this facility here to cut these out and put your pedals in. But we're not actually going to do that today because this makes it difficult to move pedals about once you've got it going. So instead, what we're going to do is put in this carpet. So I'm going to cut this carpet to shape using that as a template, and then we're going to be able to use Velcro to stick our pedals straight onto the carpet in any position that we want. What we've got here are channels to run the patch leads through. So I'm not too troubled about that because the advantage of using this is the pedals can be moved really easily and really quickly, and you can swap out pedals without having to worry about changing cutouts. And the patch cable issue isn't really such a big deal, not for me anyway. So I'm going to now get on with that, and then we'll come back on the next part of this video. Okay, so I've now put Scotch double-sided carpet tape on all the high parts here, and I've taken one of these carpet tiles and cut it to size using the cutout that came as a template, and I've just marked it with a red bit to show that's the top so I get it the right way round, because we don't want to cut it wrong at any time. And then we've got to rip these off, and then we're going to put these in, and then we're going to see how the pedals stick to it. So I'm going to come back in a moment because I've just got to finish trimming around the corners, and then that should be ready to put in. Okay, we've now stuck the carpet in, and that is really quite a good fit, and it's really quite good and flat. So the advantage of this pedal board is that it doesn't have these bits which take the cables in the old board and which actually stop you being able to mount additional cables because that just gets in the way. So the idea is to put these pedals on this board, utilising these spaces and trying to get my other two pedals onto the board as well, or at least one of them. And I've put Velcro on the bottom of one of these pedals, and this is how it sticks. We just put it onto the carpet and it should just stay there. Brilliant. Now it's going to take me a while to unplug all this lot and put it over here and fiddle about with it. So when I've done that, I'll then come back and then we'll see how it's fitted out. Okay, so I've now laid out the pedals where I think we need them to go, and I'm just starting to put the Velcro on the bottom. So we just peel this off like so, stick that on here, and on some of these pedals I've had to actually remove the feet. So on the wow they had these little feet here, and the trouble was when you take this off and you screw it down, the screws doesn't go in far enough, and so what I've done is put a couple of washers underneath here, and that's held the bottom on nicely. And on all these other pedals I've just had to cut the feet off. They're just ordinary little stick-on feet. They can always be replaced if necessary, and so we'll see how that goes. So I'm now going to position this one, just an example. So we'll just put that in here, press it down, and that's in there nice and tight. It's even picking the board up, so it's really gripped nicely. So I'm going to do the rest now, and as I go along I'm going to connect it all up with the power and with the signals as well, with the patch cables, and it's going to take a while, so I'll come back to you when that's done. Okay, we're back. So this is fantastic. I've got all these pedals here and they can lift up, and all I've done is stuck to this carpet with Velcro, and they're all in really tight, and I've played around with it, and the wires aren't too much of a problem. I've managed to keep them down. I've used a bit of Velcro just to tidy them down a little, but basically this is all set to go, and there we are. And that makes a much neater pedal board than this thing. I'm going to put carpet in there. We'll use that for spare because I've got about half a dozen other pedals, and that can be a spare. So if someone's coming over, we can jam, or if we're out in the gig, that can come as a spare just in case we get a failure. It's always good to have a spare unit. And okay, so the next video will be when I'm trying it out. Okay, we're back. So now you can see how I've put this one together. Boss, if you're listening, I know that you provide the foam bits for the cutouts to hide the wires, but as a guitarist I can tell you it's more important for us to be able to put our pedals where we want, and as many pedals as we've got, than just to hide a few wires. Why don't you just supply it with carpet, a bit of Velcro with the hooks, that's all you need, and also patch leads, that would be useful. So job done. Thank you for watching. See you next time.